All right, YouTube Axis and Allies brethren, welcome back to turret number 2 in Wake Forest, North Carolina for this 42.2 variant version edition of Axis and Allies between No Limit as the Allies and myself, Captain Jack, as the Axis. For any of you following this, No Limit mentioned on the last turn that I got some of the units wrong for Germany. I cheated myself in some places and helped myself in others, all inadvertently, of course. But I usually do my non-combat different way, and so I'm doing it a way this time that's more easy for No Limit to follow, and it's actually been a little bit confusing for me, I guess. So I apologize for the issues. But what should actually be for the unit recap of Germany is there should be 5 infantry units in Germany, which I actually had 5 there. I just had them separated differently, so I don't know if No Limit just didn't count that right. But so I've got 5 infantry in Germany. There are 6 infantry in Italy. There are 9 infantry units in Ukraine, and then there's also 7 tanks in Ukraine, not 5. So I hope that clears up any confusion. So I apologize again for you guys following that for those issues. All right, so for Japan's turn, we've got 38 IPCs to spend. They're going to spend 34 of those and carry 4 over for the next round. They're purchasing 1 carrier and 1 battleship for this turn. There are 4 battles to declare. We have 1 in Xinjiang. We've got a tank unit, an artillery unit, and 2 infantry units from Anhui going in Xinjiang. In Sichuan, we've got 1 artillery unit and 2 infantry units going from Kwangtung into Sichuan. All right. And we've got 1 infantry unit from Kwangtung going into Yunnan. And 1 fighter from Japan coming down into Yunnan. That fighter will have 1 movement left in its fuel gauge. It's coming down from Japan, so it'll move 1, 2, and 3. And last, we've got 1 bomber coming from Japan down into Sea Zone 48, I believe. Yep, 48 off the coast of the Philippines, going up against, sorry for the glare. Looks like there's a bad glare there. Let me see if I can fix that. No, still don't have it fixed. Anyway, trust me, there's a bomber coming down from Japan, coming down into Sea Zone 48 to try to take care of that UK destroyer. So we'll see what happens from there. So let me get, we'll just roll right into this. So, since they're kind of relatively small battles. All right, so in Xinjiang, we have 1 tank unit, 1 artillery, and 2 infantry. So that would be, actually, let me turn some additional light on in here. That may help. All right. There, that's a little bit better. So, for the tank unit, we have 1 blue hit die. For the artillery and infantry unit paired together, we have 2 green hit die and 1 black die for the infantry unit by themselves. So we'll roll for the Japanese now, looking for 1 hit. And no hits, none whatsoever. This is not starting out well. So for the return fire of the American forces, there's 1 green hit die. And that was also a miss. All right, so not very good aim so far for either one of the units. All right, so Japan will re-roll again. That's 1 tank, 1 infantry, 1 artillery, and another infantry alone. Looking for that 1 hit. And he got 3 hits. All right, so 3 hits. So that'll take care of that U.S. infantry unit. All right. And the return fire for the U.S. unit is a miss. All right, so let me go update that on the board, and I'll be right back for the next battle. In this round, this is for Szechuan. We have 2 infantry units for Japan and 1 artillery unit going up against 1 American infantry division. All right, so we got 2 green hit die for the Japanese infantry and artillery, and 1 black hit die for the single infantry division not paired with an artillery. Looking for 1 hit. And there were no hits. So the American unit will get to fire back with 1 green 2-hit die. And it missed as well. All right, so let's try this again. So we've got 2 green hit die and 1 black hit die for the Japanese. And here's the roll. And 1 hit, oh my goodness, the black infantry hit. The 1 hit die hit. All right, so the American unit will fire back. And it missed. All right, so that American unit has been eliminated. Szechuan is once again in the hands of, well, not once again, but is in the hands of the Japanese. So that moved the Americans down to 39 IPCs, I believe, and Japan up to 31. So, all right, next is the battle in Yunnan. Let me get the dice set up. There really wasn't a whole lot of dice to set up on this one, but this is the battle for Yunnan. So we've got 1 Japanese fighter and 1 infantry division going up against 1 Russian infantry division. So we'll have 1 blue die for the jet fighter, 1 black die for the Japanese infantry, and 1 green die for the Russian infantry. So we can roll all these at the same time. All right, so here we go. And nobody hit. So we get to roll again. Continue this battle on. Oh, and okay, all right, so the jet fighter hit, the Japanese infantry missed, and the Russian infantry missed. All right, so let's adjust that on the board here. Take those off. I got kind of lucky here that none of those infantry hit. That green hit die just didn't hit anything. Sorry about that, No Limit. All right, maybe you'll get luckier here with this bomber going after this destroyer. All right, so we've got 1 Japanese bomber going after 1 UK destroyer. So that is 1 red or 4-hit die for the bomber and 1 2-hit green die for the destroyer. Kind of looks like Christmas in there, red and green. Anyway, all right. Here's the shake up, and here's the roll. And they both hit. So that kind of hurt me, losing a bomber, just going after a destroyer. But so it is. All right, so the destroyer is gone. The UK destroyer in C-Zone 48 is gone, and so is my bomber. All right, so I took a chance there. I feel like I needed to take some type of chances with what No Limit's got going on out here. So anyway, that does it for combat. I'll be right back with non-combat. All right, guys, so for the last part of this video, I apologize. I think the previous one, my phone may have gotten turned. I'm trying to hold a phone and do all this maneuvering at one time, so I don't have a stand for my phone. So, and it may have gotten tilted, so it was at a bad angle, and you may not have seen all the dice when they landed, and I apologize for that, No Limit. But everything was kosher. So anyway, so IPC values, looks like Japan's at 32, US is at 38. All right, so for non-combat movements, we've got 1 infantry unit from Kiangsu going into Anhui. We have one fighter from Manchuria flying down to the Philippine Islands. We have one transport from C-Zone 62 taking one infantry and one artillery down to the Philippine Islands. We've got, I'm sorry, that fighter in Manchuria does not come down to the Philippine Islands. The fighter from Okinawa comes down to the Philippine Islands. Sorry about that, No Limit. But anyway, so that is that. The fighter that was in Yunnan is going to land in Kiangsu. Kwangtung. He had one movement left. So he had one movement left in its fuel gauge, so it will land in Kwangtung. So again, that's one infantry from Kiangsu into Anhui, one fighter from Okinawa down to the Philippine Islands, transport bringing one infantry and one artillery from Japan down to the Philippine Islands, and the fighter in Yunnan landing in Kwangtung. So I believe that'll do it for all the non-combat movements. So from turret number 2 in Wake Forest, North Carolina, this is Captain Jack signing off for Japan's J2 turn. Next up will be No Limit doing the U.S. turn, and then he'll be doing the Russian turn. So I'll be quiet for a few hours. Anyway, hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm definitely enjoying this game, although this is not my favorite version, and it's the version I've played the least. And also, this is the only time I've ever played this variant before. And I will have to say, I do know that the out-of-box version of this setup favors the Axis, but I think this variant version went too far in the other direction, and I think it favors the Axis too much. But maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just because I'm it favors the Allies too much. Maybe I'm just because I'm playing with the other side. I don't know. But I've felt like I've been in the hole since the very beginning because of the way it was set up. I really like the way the Allies were spread out across the board. And would like to play with that setup sometime or another. So anyway, all right, from turret number 2 in Wake Forest, North Carolina, this is Captain Jack, over and out. All right, so for the last portion of this video, we want to look at the IPC values. We got Japan moved up to 32 from 29 because of those 3 battles there in China, and the U.S. went down from 41 to 38. I believe that's right. No Limit, let me know if it's not. All right, so for non-combat movements, we have one infantry unit from Anhui moving into, from Kiangsu moving into Anhui. We have the fighter that was in Yunnan moving one space that it had left into Kwangtung. We have one transport and destroyer moving down off the coast of the Philippine Islands, bringing with them an infantry that I already set down there for some reason, and an infantry and an artillery. The fighter from Okinawa is going to land on the Philippine Islands. And I believe that's it. So placement of new units. We've got the aircraft carrier going down with 2 fighters landing or being placed on them and placed on it, and battleship. So that's going down in C-Zone 60. And again, they'll have 4 IPCs left to spend in the next round. So for the unit recap, real quick, I'm trying to keep this video under 15 minutes. We've in Xinjiang, we've got 1 tank, 1 artillery, 2 infantry. Szechuan, 1 artillery and 2 infantry. In Yunnan, 1 infantry. Kwangtung, 1 fighter. In Anhui, 1 infantry. In Manchuria, 2 fighters, 1 artillery, 1 AA gun, and 4 infantry. Off the coast of Japan, 2 fully loaded aircraft carriers, 1 destroyer, 1 sub, 1 cruiser, 2 battleships. On Japan, 2 AA guns and 1 artillery. Iwo Jima, 1 infantry. Okinawa, 1 infantry. Carolina Islands, 1 infantry and 1 AA gun. New Guinea, 1 infantry. Solomon Islands, 1 infantry. In the Philippine Islands, we have 1 infantry, 1 artillery, and 1 fighter. And off the coast, we have a destroyer and a transport. In Borneo, 2 infantry and artillery. East Indies, 2 infantry. And Malaya, 2 infantry. So sorry I sped through that, but anyway, like I said, I'm trying to keep my videos under 15 minutes or so. All right, so from turret number 2 in Wake Forest, North Carolina, this is the end of the J2 turn, and this is Captain Jack saying over and out.